All right, so we did our first layer, which is the phlox. Actually, it's the third layer in this process. So we had layer 1, which was just the base. Then we had layer 2, which was putting down a thin coat. Layer 3 is actually the petal itself. And now comes another layer of resin. And then your next layer of flower or leaf embellishment. So I love how it came out. It came out really well. I cured it from the back and the front inside the UV light. It's a light just like you'd use to cure your nails. But again, you have to have a light strong enough that works with your UV resin. So the next step is another layer that's really, really thin. Okay, so again, about 1/8 of an inch. I'm guessing maybe a 1/16. I don't measure this. But thin coat. A very thin coat. Now the overall piece when it's done, I mean, it's thin. It fits on your neck really nicely. It's not like you're wearing something that's, an inch thick. Now you see how I have that little air bubble there? I want to show you how easy it is to remove without a torch. Of course, torches and any kind of material are a little scary to a lot of people. But I just take a little wire and I'll poke it and push it to the edge and it will pop and it will disappear. So I have another little bubble there, move it to the edge. Some of my pieces, again, like I said before, you'll end up with a tiny little, bubble. Sometimes it affects it, sometimes it doesn't. So just move them to the edge very slowly. Again, yes, you can use a torch, but I don't, playing with fire is something that I don't recommend, especially if you're using this with children around. You wouldn't want little kids to be playing with any kind of torch and chemicals of any kind. So again, always use proper ventilation when you're working with any kind of product. So now, it's wet. It's my next layer. And I have a beech leaf that I have turned into a flower. And it's going to go behind this and act as almost like little leaves. There we go. Again, you're only going to see part of it. And it goes back under the UV the UV light. And again, I'm tapping, trying to make sure that I have no air bubbles and no space in between this layer. All right, so back in we go. Stay tuned.